Hey guys, how's it going? Cole here from Ad Labs Marketing. And today I felt like just sort of jumping into some things that I find interesting and that really help to scale up my ability and my team's ability to properly improve Facebook ads campaigns and performance, to really just start actually providing a consistent increase in ROI or be able to consistently optimize the campaign so that they move past maybe the initial few steps of optimization. If you've been running Facebook ads for a while, you understand some really basic concepts of being able to read reports and maybe to be able to use those to make some optimizations. But I do a little bit of a different method, I think, than some of the advertisers I've seen based off the ad accounts that I've taken over with clients. And maybe I can give you a little bit of insight into a different method to reviewing and reporting on your content or your ads so you can improve your performance. So, to give you some backstory so you understand what we're looking at here, is this is a client that actually runs sort of a full suite of products and solutions. The primary campaigns that we're focusing on is actually a on-demand solution in the health and fitness space. They're doing really well. We're really scaling out, and we have a few key audiences that we wanted to target. And now it's really time to look at the funnel that we've developed and to try to find what are optimized ad copy, creative, and headlines, description variations were the highest performing, so we can really create new variations for our updated campaigns. So when we optimize our offer, because we got to get rid of a few things from our offer because it's no longer available, that we are putting the best foot forward. Often the biggest thing that we see when we start to run ads is that people go through and create 100 new variations of copy and creative, and that's great, that's fine, it works. But sometimes you can keep it stupid simple, review your data, take what's already working, take the highest performing variations of your content, like your headlines, your descriptions, your images, your videos, and then your primary texts, and you take maybe your top three, and then you have two extra variations that you're sort of testing against those, and you can let those run. Now, with this, I need to remind you, this is all based off of dynamic ads. We're very focused on dynamic ads with a CBO, so campaign budget optimization. We let it run in this way so that we can specifically target certain things. And some of these, we had ad set minimums, so that way certain ad sets would be forced to be given a certain minimum until we found like it was just a losing ad set. And then we'd turn that off. So again, to give you some insight, how this works for this client, let's go with a Square. So we have someone that'll come in, and the highest converting client or customer for this person is free trial to a on-demand sign-up subscription. So when we look at these, we're not so much looking for a big front-end ROI, because what we're really looking to do is we're looking to get quality signups that are going to stay. Now, the average customer that stays with us after the 15-day free trial will spend about $120 in lifetime. And that lifetime of the average customer is about 6 to 8 months. I'm using a mouse. You can only do so much. Use about 6 to 8 months. So our lifetime average customer cycle is about 6 to 8 months. First off, we're trying to build things on the back end to improve this so that the customer will stay longer to further increase this from 120 to 180, $200, and then maybe longer. Now, again, so when we look at these, the purchases that we actually have are actually due to people buying products, because this company has physical products that back up this free trial, which is really great. It allows you to do a downsell and a cross sell of an offer. So if someone goes on here and they download the free trial and they start doing that, but they don't have the products to actually use some of the solutions that you're providing, they can go in here and we can use ads to retarget and cross sell them. All right, so now you have a little bit of an understanding of what the hell we're actually looking at. Now we can jump into this. So let me try to shrink myself down here a little bit. When we look at these things, what we like to do is we like to break these down based off of different parts of the funnel. And as I will show you here, so what we do is we take top of funnel. Let me sort this. So we got bottom of funnel, middle of funnel, and top of funnel. How we do the top of funnel is this is cold traffic with exclusions based off of certain audiences. And then each ad group underneath each campaign is its own audience. And So like here's an example. We have 10-second video views audience, 3-second video views audience, social activity audiences. And I've consistently, just because of past campaigns, we group a lot of these together rather than going like, oh, they did page likes, they did Instagram likes, they liked our post or something or another. This is a conglomerate of target audiences here. As you see, just got a bunch in here. And it's been working really well. As you see, we're averaging around $13 a purchase for them. This is, a 3.7 ROI so far. It's just good. Obviously, you see some of these are winners, some of these are not. Remember, the biggest thing from this is that this is a long-term value piece that we're trying to get from this, is because most of these people we retarget with other campaigns and actually come in and make a heck of a lot more sales. Now, this campaign has actually only ran for, it was like 7 days. Yeah, we've only been running this, I think, for 7 days so far. Yeah, less than 7 days, really. So we have enough data here to make some optimization. So when we look at these, just to give you an idea, what we did is if you look at bottom of funnel, we did 2 different messaging methods. Since, everyone's dealing with coronavirus and staying at home, people are cooped up inside. We had a whole set where we were optimizing based off of kind of pushing towards that copy, that type of offer, that positioning. And they also had another one where we were actually targeting people in a more neutral version, acting as if nothing's wrong, everything's fine. And as you see here between the two, we did get actually a surprising difference. A different amount, and we had the same amount of purchase, same amount pushed towards the ads for the most part, but we had a big variation in terms of those purchases. Now, if you can even see, the cost per purchase was much lower, and so on. So the checkout's initiated. Here it is. So we got everything here, and the bottom one for this bottom of funnel was averaging around almost a 9 ROI, which is pretty good. So once we have an understanding, here's an understanding. Remember, to make sure you understand, we do top of funnel, we run exclusions. Middle of funnel, I have sort of segmented this as the social engagement audiences. These are the people that have engaged with your videos, your content, your Facebook page, your Instagram page, but haven't gone to your website. So there's actually an exclusion of those people here. And what this is for is that's because those people have shown interest in your product and service, but they haven't made a purchase action on your website. As soon as they do that, then we push them into this group here. Now, I know traditionally we would actually segment this down even further, and we would do website engagement and then go another audience where it's like abandoned cart, recovery. That's just not being shown here because it has, we do dynamic product campaigns and so on and so forth. So, but focusing here, we're going to jump over into the ads reporting, which you go here up to the top left, top bar, and you go to ads reporting. Once we're in ads reporting, I got to set up to make sure my time's correct. I've all this stuff set up here. I like to say rando client. It doesn't really matter. You guys can see what's going on. So what I like to do is we use Airtable to actually outline our campaigns to make sure things are in order and clean. And we do our campaign headlines and then so on. And we have sort of a whole process that we'll follow here, which is really nice because it makes everything here so much easier. We'll have all of our primary text copy, our main headlines or descriptions, all of the primary pieces in terms of the creative that we'll use. And we can sort of just call over to that creative as well. Here's an example. Cool. They have their creative, and we'll go through and use that. Now, with this, once you have our campaigns up and running, we actually can go on the back end and we can run reports to show different segments. I like to start by first, if it shows it, great. Then we try to just look at it without looking at a campaign or ad set level. Then from there, I'll just break it down into the ads, into the campaign level to really get an idea of which of these sections really provided the most ROI or the highest ROI for the client. Just because sometimes you'll notice that depending on if it's bottom of funnel or top of funnel, certain calls to actions will convert at a higher rate. We've consistently seen that these two have really been the biggest players. So we've been really testing them against all of our campaigns. But as you see here, again, this was only for 7 days. If ideally they'd be spending, probably double or triple what they had been spending for this over the past 7 days, but because everything's going on, we're trying to play this a little bit safe before we dive head first. So this is our trial round to make sure things are running accordingly. But as you see, we have bottom of funnel here, bottom of funnel here, and between both of these bottom of funnel campaigns here, we had over 48 conversions from that, and all of them were under $14. And if you look here at the bottom of funnel, so we got 22 and 7, so 30, roughly 30. Now for me, my recommendation, looking at this data, I could go into more depth, but just to give you a high level, we even break it down even more. Impressions, maybe look at the add to cart, how many people added to cart and started to engage with things, but maybe didn't hit that purchase piece. Because sometimes you cut off your campaigns too early. So you have like high level actions, but you don't necessarily have purchases. If you don't have enough purchase data to really run with, I always recommend trying to look at your initiate checkout and your add to cart. Look at the totals as well as the cost, or maybe the rate at which how many people you need to have in order to have a add to cart, and so on. So with this, I've already looked at some of this data, so I already know like I would keep running with a sign up and learn more. So if we're under our cold traffic campaigns here, I would open this up and I would say, hey, I want to add sign up. I'd add sign up and I'd add learn more. And so what I'm doing here is I'm actually making this whole process extremely simple because I'm taking the data from our previous campaigns. I'm saying, okay, cool, which ones are the best? And I'm going to put those in the updated campaign. And that way, when we're running through here, updating this copy and we're making things improved, we have data already backing some of it, rather than consistently running with completely new creative and text. Sometimes if you just start testing the same creative and copy on a different audience or optimizing the different segments of your campaigns, you'll find that you actually just get better performance. All you needed to do is just make sure you're changing or deleting the lowest performing pieces or the low-hanging fruit. Thankfully, Facebook does try to do that automatically within your campaigns, but I found and we found consistently that if you just go through and you see, okay, let's take an example. We'll do headlines. If we look at headlines, each of our campaigns starts with 5 headlines. As you see, we have 5 different headlines, and some of them perform okay, some of them perform much better. And so rather than having all 5 of them, we'll just take the highest 3 and we'll run with those. Now, still, it's a dynamic. Still, you're going to get a lot of variations, but at least you're running with the highest, the highest converting variations. So the ad spend isn't wasting more time trying to test the other 2 variations. So after I had already gone through this, I like to first try to check based on results here. All right, cool. So our highest one was experience melt on demand in the bottom of funnel traditional audience, which makes sense. Remember, our traditional messaging audience really did convert the best, which is sort of what we'd expect. They're the bottom of funnel audience. They're the highest engagement. And so they're going to be the ones that will be most interested in our product or service when we present an offer. So obviously, this is great. $3.25 per purchase. If you remember, our average lifetime value of like half the customers that can. So remember, we have a free trial, and then right around 50% of those people become an ongoing member. And the average lifetime value of a member is around 6 to 8 months, which brings us $120 just through their subscription service, not including any physical products. So if we look at this and we're getting $3.25 per sign up for a free trial, we're doing pretty damn good. I don't know about you, but I'd be pretty okay with that ROI. If it was a physical product, I don't know. It depends. I think most people would be pretty satisfied with that. But looking at this, we know, okay, we definitely want this headline. And then we definitely see this begin your self-care journey and a free trial are definitely really doing pretty solid. Now, we want to double check to see how our things are doing across other sections. Okay, cool. Experience, boom. And here it is. When I look at this, I try to look at the totals, the costs. We have an ideal cost. We know how much we want to pay, and we just keep optimizing to make sure that we're getting that. And they also have a cost for impressions and a general cost per, where is it? I thought I had it in line here. A general cost per click that we're really looking for. Uh, and between all of that, it really just helps me get a pretty clear view as to what am I going to go to in our updated campaigns and how am I going to optimize these. As you see here, after I'd looked at this data, I really decided I wanted to run with um, this. So I always try to make sure that my campaigns that I'm in here, again, I set this up for my team. So we have a whole thing just within this platform. But I always try to set it up from the highest to the lowest converting. I noticed that in Facebook, when I am setting up my campaigns, if I don't if I don't put these in order from the highest to the lowest converting, then it takes it so much longer to start using and testing those higher converting variations. So I always recommend trying to put your highest to your lowest converting in order. So that way, I feel like you have a higher chance of Facebook trying to use the higher end variation. Think of like Google search ads, your Google search like responsive ads. If you guys mess with any of those, the first 3 headline variations that you use, they're going to sort of be your go-tos unless the other ones sort of kick in. I consistently was seeing how like the first 2 headlines on Google ads were running a lot, and then the bottom, like the third one in that section, was where everything else would cycle in. Feel free to give me your thoughts and opinions on this down below. I'm not saying that what we got is the perfect system. I just know that this has been bringing in some really great results. As I'm going through, I essentially follow through this process, and I try to keep doing this. In these campaigns, we did just image ads rather than video. I prefer video in every possible way. It's just cheaper, it's higher converting usually, but we really wanted to just get some things up and running and be able to run some tests. So with this, we found that this image here was actually the highest converting image if we looked at all of these. If it will show it, we're going to, yeah. Yeah. I actually need to get rid of this thing because this isn't connected to anything anymore. This is the one thing I've noticed. And if you go too high level, Facebook does not like giving you really nice concrete data, even though they have it. So you usually have to break it down to campaign name. Another trick that I have is just create a custom conversion for what you want, and that way you can look at it here and the reports. And so that way you can look at everything in a really high level first and go, okay, cool. We had, wow, I just removed it. It was just there. I went blind. And so let's look at the initiate checkouts here. As you see, we had 77 initiate checkouts from this image, and this image averaged at least a 1.81 ROI. And then I like to go over here, cross check. I got to hit the backspace here. As you see, it's very touchy. Boom. It wants to show us this image. Oh, I'm under videos. Make sure you're under the right place. All right. And then once we're in here, we see that, hey, here's the image. And then what I would do is I will go in here and say, hey, that was the highest converting image. I'm going to make sure I keep that image again. I'm going to put it in here. And again, when I go to paste it into my campaigns, I want to make sure that it's in order from highest to lowest converting. And we usually start with a lot of creatives, and then as we optimize, we'll get down to less creative visuals, but then we'll test other text variations. So that way we have an idea on which image variations work, and then we'll actually go and create video variations of those exact same things. Now, I know some of you guys especially don't necessarily have the budget with your client, or maybe you individually with your own product or service. You don't have the budget to necessarily create a crazy nice video that obviously would likely provide a heck of a lot more results than the ones that Facebook creates. But if you are short on time, money, and you found a creative that already works, you can hit here and hit create video. And a really simple thing that we recommend doing is just hit create video, go to this one here, hit customize, and just remove everything. You would be surprised how well just coming in here, and let's just take this one. And then obviously we wouldn't necessarily choose this, but like just going in here and creating a 6-second video, and then we're letting this run against your other variation, like your image ad, you sometimes see that your video actually converts at a 4x higher rate than just your image. So always come in here. Once you've found the image that you think really converts, such as this one, I would definitely come in here and try to create a video variation of this exact image. And if I can't create it in the way that I want it to, then I would, like here's an example. Then I would definitely come in and at least have our designer create some updated creative. But here's a really simple method to actually try to create a video, so that way you can retarget these people. I know I'm going on a little bit of a tangent, but I feel like it's just important for you guys to understand what's going on, and that way you can try to make better improvements to your existing campaigns. So, because sometimes you can build out a campaign and you see what's going on, and you see it's not converting to the way you want it, and you don't quite understand why it's just not moving in the right direction. So that's what I recommend doing. Just trying to test your creatives without having to create a bunch of new creatives. All right, so far we've looked at this. We found that we break it down. I honestly should say that I try to not go too deep into this, because sometimes if I go ad name, it's too granular. Ad set and campaign level is really the highest I would go. I don't usually use this in terms of granularity. I like to just adjust it over here and keep it there. And then I don't really mess with objective. The biggest thing I look at is the dynamic creative asset. And what this allows me to do is just objectively look at the creative and content that we have, because we've already went through and optimized our audiences to know which one's performing the highest for us. So if you guys happen to have any other questions with this, you'd like me to dive into more detail, I'm more than happy to. But I think just from the content that we have here, we'd be able to go through step by step and make a really informed decision, between call to action, description, headline, image, text, and video, is to find what is going to be my updated variation or target for this campaign. So remember, we already have 2 active campaigns. We're going to go to an updated variation of both of these campaigns, where it's sort of a mix and it has the highest variations of both. And then we'll be running that to make sure that we're getting the highest performance possible. So as you see, we've already got in our copy, our headlines, our descriptions, our images that we're going to use on our target page with some custom URL tracking. And then we just pop this baby into Facebook just as we normally would, following your process. I don't know about you. I love things being very easy to read. If you came into the ad account, you know exactly what this is for. If you're with the client, you know exactly what the messaging's for and the offer. And yeah, it just makes life so much easier. So, all right, guys, if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, think you have a better method of doing it, feel free to drop it down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And you guys have a great day.